there's also a kind of wiring that I think people need in order to have an appetite for change. And while as entrepreneurs, we generally have a fairly vigorous appetite for change, we also love control. And you know, you point out change is something we tend to resist. So if you look at the forest fire, the forest management industry, they, for 100 years, they went through so many pains to prevent fires. But the fires, they're part of nature. They're a healthy part of the symbiosis we have with our planet, right? They cleanse the forest. They cleanse the forest floor. They rid the forest of disease. And after 100 years of trying at all costs to stop fires, they finally said, let nature work its way. And too big to fail, same thing. You said, look, we're propping up these companies and they're like the forest that need to burn down. They're not serving us. Let nature run its course. Because if they're too big to fail, what about the too small to save? The competitive companies that are generating value. So I'm curious how you can encourage people, us as entrepreneurs, to have an even more vigorous perspective and appetite for change.
Well, first of all, the good thing is it is happening whether we like it or not. half of the Fortune 500 companies will not exist in the next 10 to 15 years because the technology is moving so fast. And these are guys who, big companies, have all these baggages that they have to protect, and they are suddenly dying faster and faster space. So it used to be, you will say, well, there is somebody ahead of me. They have already been 5 years before me. I am actually no longer can participate. Now I look at someone who is 5 years ahead of me. Well, they are actually 2 years closer to being died while I'm using the exponential technology to disrupt them. That means every single new company that is starting using the technologies of today or tomorrow are going to benefit from the exponential curve that the current companies cannot use because they have a asset or the base or a baggage, whatever you want to call it, and that stops them from going there. And to me, if you look at the taxi companies were disrupted by Uberization. And the Uber is going to get disrupted faster than any other industry got disrupted by, if you get the self-driving cars. The reason Uber succeeded is because they were able to actually create a network of drivers and the passengers, right? Mm-hmm. And they needed the drivers to be able to create a marketplace. Guess what? Now the car manufacturer becomes the driver. So suddenly the Tesla becomes an Uber on day one because they have millions of these cars everywhere that can take you anywhere you want. So idea of these technology come along, suddenly disrupting the market leader who thought they disrupted someone else is happening at a faster and a faster pace, right? And that is really what entrepreneurs should be thinking about, is that there has never been a better time to be alive. This is the decade where most industries that you thought could not be disrupted, going to be disrupted. I'm telling you, whether it is healthcare, whether it is education, whether it is agriculture, whether it is energy, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is construction, whether it is real estate, it is going to be massively disrupted. And we are already starting to see some of the trend during COVID. People thought that housing in the urban areas will always be Manhattan, will always, the real estate value have to hold because every business is there and the value will always be there. And now people are realizing you can work out of a remote beach somewhere else. And now people are saying the house prices in Manhattan have crashed by 50%, right? And that is just the beginning. Because now imagine, once you start to create a virtual reality workspace, your brain doesn't know you're not sitting in your space in an open office or whatever your environment was. Your brain knows you're there. And in fact, you will be able to transmit all of the same signals.
Thank you for joining this episode of The CEO Show. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss upcoming episodes where I will do my level best to help you unlock greater success and freedom. And share this video. You and everything you do makes a difference.